Right now, it is time for the Way Black History Fact. And today's Way Black History Fact is sponsored by Major Threads. For innovative, fashionable sportswear, check majorthreads.com. And I'm going to share a writing from someone whose writings I like. His name is Carfrey J. From Hip Hop Public Health. And, you know, we've cross-checked this, of course, but I like this writing, so I'm going to share it with you. We're going to talk about perhaps the first man to make it to the North Pole. And the way the story sounds is like he was a black man. So follow me. In the long and brutal annals of American history, few stories are more appalling than those covering the silencing of black excellence. From enslavement to Jim Crow, from systemic oppression to cultural erasure, the legacy of white supremacy has worked tirelessly to rob black people of their rightful place in history. Among those most grievously wronged is Matthew Alexander Henson, a name that should be universally celebrated but has instead been buried beneath white historians' selective amnesia. Henson wasn't just a participant in the famed expedition to the North Pole, he was the first man to stand at that frozen frontier, a black man. Yet for decades, his contributions were dismissed, belittled, and outright stolen. At 21, Henson met U.S. Navy officer Robert Peary, who would forever attempt to place himself as the sole hero of the North Pole expedition. Peary saw in Henson not an equal but an instrument, a resource to be exploited. Yet it was Henson who mastered the art of Arctic survival. He learned the Inuit language and formed close relationships with the Inuit people, adopting their methods to navigate the unforgiving ice and snow terrain. In contrast, Peary remained largely dependent on Henson's skills, and his survival was often due to Henson's guidance and ability to forge connections with the Inuit people who aided his team. The journey to the North Pole was a brutal, soul-crushing odyssey, one that tested every ounce of human endurance, both physically and mentally. Matthew Henson wasn't merely a part of the expedition, he was its cornerstone. It wasn't just the cold they fought, it was the biting winds that cut deep like razors, the treacherous ice that threatened to swallow them whole, and the sheer oppressive weight of isolations at the ends of the earth. Henson, a master of Arctic survival, rose to the challenge time and again, his leadership and resourcefulness proving vital as Peary and others struggled to adapt to the extreme condition. The team set out from Greenland in 1908 in July with the dream of becoming the first humans to reach the North Pole. While Peary was the face of the expedition, it was Henson who had earned the respect and admiration of the Inuit guides, who viewed him as one of their own due to his skill, courage, and humility. Henson's fluency in the Inuit language and deep understanding of their techniques gave the team a crucial edge in navigating the Arctic's brutal environment. By the time they reached the final leg of their journey in March 1909, Peary's health was deteriorating. His toes had become frostbitten and he could no longer lead the group in the front. It was Henson who took charge, scouting ahead and blazing a trail toward their ultimate goal. Despite the overwhelming odds, Henson remained focused, his eyes locked on the horizon where the North Pole lay. On April 6, 1909, after a grueling final push, Matthew Henson became the first man to reach the North Pole, standing alone on its ice. His words, simple yet profound, reverberate through history. I think I'm the first man to sit atop the world. And indeed he was, but the glory that should have been his was cruelly stolen by the racism that would define the aftermath of his historic achievement. In the years that followed the expedition, Peary was celebrated and showered with accolades and hailed as a national hero. Henson, however, was relegated to the shadows. While Peary received promotions and financial rewards, Henson was forced to take menial job as a clerk at a federal customs office. Even in that position, he was treated with contempt, with white colleagues often sneering at his achievements, dismissing them as unimportant or fabricated. The white press, of course, followed suit, rarely mentioning his name or contributions. The erasure was deliberate.